Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I get so many skincare questions and today we're going to basically put all of them in one video, what order you should use your products. The biggest question I always get is if I get a subscription box and I have all this skincare, what order do I do them in? All of those answers and much, much more today's video. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I upload every other day and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So I'm going to pop on a face mask and just chat with you guys about skincare, answering what you guys have put on Instagram as some of your biggest skincare questions. So without wasting too much more of your time on a super long-winded intro, let's jump right into it. All right, so I am going to pop on the mask, but before I do, I did just want to let you guys know, today, when the video goes up, the 18th is the last day to enter my massive Instagram giveaway, so I will link that in the description box. I have 3 prizes. Go to that post and nominate somebody. Each bundle is over $1,100 worth of makeup, skincare, nails, like each one I think has a full skincare routine. Each one has a full face of makeup in there. They are all super extensive and I wrapped them all. Brandon and I spent a whole lot of time wrapping them individually so that we're sending presents to you guys for the holidays. And I'm calling the winning today so that I can get it in the mail. So hopefully it'll get to you guys before Christmas morning. So make sure you enter the giveaway and let's jump into today's topic. So I'm going to be using the Alpine Beauty Wildcraft Actives Wild Huckleberry 8 Acid Polish Peel Mask. That is really a lot of words, but it is supposedly nice and exfoliating. It is a really pretty, like, whipped pink color, and it smells really nice, so I'm excited to try that out. I am going to grab a clean, flat paddle brush. These bristles are so stained because I used them for face paint a few years ago. But I'm going to take a thin layer because it says to use a thin layer, and I'm just going to pop that on. Now, because this is a polishing peel and exfoliator, I am not going to bypass the orbital bone. I am going to keep it around this bone because you don't want to get too close to the eyes. Also, I regularly shave my face, obviously, so part of my face is often exfoliated. So I am going to ignore those areas as well. So I'm really just going to stick to the T-zone and the cheeks for the mask. Okay, so now that this is on, it does say, apply a thin layer to clean and dry skin, avoid the eye area, leave on for 5 minutes, gentle enough to use AM or PM. So I'm going to set that to the side and go through some of your questions. All right, so the first question that I have, which honestly is a question that I get every single time I post about skincare, YouTube, Instagram, the works, and it is about Boxycharm and skincare. So the issue is you get a lot of products in these boxes that are all skincare related. And the biggest concern is in what order do you use those products? So I'm actually going to oversimplify it for you because between the amount of variations, how many months that they've been sending products, I'm sure everybody has so many products that they're trying to figure out what to use and when. So I'm going to boil your skincare routine down into 4 steps. Cleanse, treat, hydrate, protect. Those are your 4 steps. Every single piece of skincare will fit into one of those categories. So as long as you're using one from every category, your skincare routine is fine. So number 1 is cleansing. I did hold up the Tarte Micellar Magic Water. This is a cleanser. It's also a makeup remover. You can use this to clean your skin. I know that the Murad AHA BHA cleanser came in a box recently. I just finished a Glossy Box one that I really liked from the Glossy Box skincare line. Basically, if it says cleanser and it is meant to clean your face, that is your step 1. That is your cleanser. Now, within that, something to remember is a makeup remover and a cleanser are not always the same thing. A micellar water can work as both if you use it twice. Wash your face with it, grab a clean cotton round and do it again. You'll still get makeup residue, so you know it's not ready. But if you're using like a makeup balm or something like that, make sure you're following up with an oil or a gel cleanser. Now, part of cleansing is toning the skin. So toning kind of closes the pores back up. So after you cleanse your skin, you should be toning your skin. There are people who say you don't need to tone every day. I tone every day, but my skin is more oily leaning combo. So for me, I do tone more regularly. And then you would follow that up with an essence, which rebalances your skin, closing out the cleanse category. So if you have a cleanser, a toner, and an essence, that is step 1 of your skincare routine. Then you are treating, which is going to be your serums. That'll include your eye serums, your face serums. An exfoliating mask could be a treatment because you should be doing it to clean, dry skin. So when I got on camera, I had already cleaned my skin, I had toned it, and I had used an essence. I allowed it to sink in, and now I'm doing an exfoliating mask. This is a treatment, which then I would follow up with a serum or something. I held up the Farsali liquid glass. That came in a Boxycharm as well. That is a product that will add hydration. It's technically a hydrating serum. That's also the time where I would put on an eye cream, and I would put on an eye serum before creams always. Then on to step 3 is hydration. So that's going to be your facial moisturizer and face oils. Now, you don't have to go in with an oil if you don't like oils. You don't have to go in with just a moisturizer. You can double duty. You can layer them up. Totally up to you, but the hydration key is the most important. I used to do a demo back when I worked in Sephora and I was educating on skincare, where I would take a piece of paper. I actually don't have any in front of me, but I would crumple it up and then re-unfold it, and it would be covered in little lines, creases, and folds. Wrinkles are folds in the skin. Then I would take that same piece of paper, I would soak it in water and pull it up, and all the wrinkles would be gone. And that is a great metaphor for our skin. Hydrated skin ages better. The drier your skin is, the more likely fine lines, wrinkles, crow's feet, etc. are going to develop in your skin, which is why those of us with oily skin tend to age a little bit more gracefully. Now, you can combat that by using the right blend of hyaluronic acid, squalane, face oils, things that will keep the hydration in your skin, and then you won't have as much of an issue. But you have to know that if your skin's a little drier, you need to be using those extra hydrators. And the fourth step is protection. So during the day, that would be your retinol. During the day, that would be your SPF. At night, retinol would be like your night treatment. At night, that would be a face oil to seal everything in some cases a mask. If there are overnight sleeping masks that are meant to balance the biosphere on your face to help everything just age a little bit better and keep good bacteria on the skin while preventing bad bacteria from developing. Those are going to protect the skin. Cleanse, treat, hydrate, protect. As long as you're doing those 4 steps within, you can do 12 to 15 steps in a row. That is totally a thing. But a lot of times they are excessive, and there are people who will do 4 different serums. Me, I am people. If you're going in with 4 different serums and a mask and this, it's great. It's good for you, but after a certain point, it's redundant. So make sure you're looking and you're doing efficiently what you need to be doing. If you're using a vitamin C toner, you don't need a vitamin C serum. If you're using a moisturizer with squalane, you would probably want to go to a lactic acid or a hyaluronic acid serum because double squalane isn't really going to help you as much as diversifying your ingredients. Okay, so that just answered like 4 questions in one because it's what order to use and what Boxycharm Ipsy products you should use. The next question is, what can I use on oily, stressed, irritated, acne-prone skin? That's a lot of things. So oily, stressed, irritated, and acne-prone are all different individuals. So for stressed and irritated skin, that really just means that your skin needs a detox. So I would go in with something that is detoxifying. A nice detox cleanser or exfoliating cleanser will work beautifully. As for irritated, find something that has a calming ingredient in it. My favorite product for calming skin is always going to be the Murad Revitalaxer Recovery Serum. It uses wild indigo, which is a natural anti-inflammatory that calms redness so well. It's also super hydrating, so it is going to hold on to moisture, which will help you to look less red, irritated, and inflamed. As for the acne-prone and oily part, those are going to take you in 2 different directions. So for oily skin, you really want to figure out what's the source of your oils. So for example, I am more combo oily, but that's because my glands just produce more oil than I need. No matter how much hydration I put in my skin, even if you skip the moisturizer, that does not affect your oil, because oily versus dry is not the same thing as hydrated versus dehydrated. I have very hydrated skin that is still oily. I also know people who have dehydrated skin that is oily, and the second they hydrate properly, their skin stops producing oil. So you're going to want to test around your moisturizers to see if what blend will keep your oils at bay, knowing that there's a very good chance that you just might produce extra oil that you don't need. That being said, for the acne prone, you really want to steer away from comedogenic ingredients. It's the reason that I avoid coconut oil and coconut byproducts in all of my skincare, because for me that is a triggering ingredient, and instantly I will get breakouts like it's nothing. So one of my favorite lines, this is not sponsored by Murad at all, but one of my favorite lines for anybody who has acne issues is the blue line from Murad. Also, the Clean Skin Days, which is the Sephora collection brand, super affordable, also works really well. The next question is, how often should I be using masks? Now, this is a really interesting question because there's a million different masks to use. A hydrating sheet mask is very different than the mask I have on my face right now, which as soon as I'm done with this question, I'm actually going to rinse off. This is exfoliating. So an exfoliator is something you should only be using 3 times a week maximum. But a hydrating sheet mask is something that you can work into your routine every single day if you have them and you want to use them. There's nothing wrong with that. So make sure you're looking at the actives in the sheet mask to see what it's doing. Extra hydration is something that pretty much everyone needs in their skincare routine, no matter who you are. You can pretty much always use a little extra hydration. So if you feel like pampering yourself and you want to scroll on Instagram for 20 minutes with a sheet mask on at night as you're like unplug, light a candle, do it. That is totally okay. But something like what I put on from Alpine, this is an exfoliating mask with 8 different acids in it. Not something that I would recommend using every single night. All right, I'm gonna go rinse this off and I will be right back. All right, so I just rinsed the mask and I do have some thoughts. I do wanna just give a quick thank you to Alpine for sending this over. It was sent to me for reviewing purposes, but this is not sponsored at all, which is kind of a testament because I don't like this. It went on nice. It felt a little tingly, which for exfoliators is not necessarily a bad thing. But once I rinsed it off, do you see how red I am? That is not from the acids. That's from a little bit of grit that was in there. So it's almost like a physical exfoliant, which you guys know I am not a fan of physical exfoliants. So if I'm gonna be honest, this is not something I think I would use again just because it was a little too abrasive on the skin. Like, this is not normal redness I get from exfoliating. This is irritation. This is, I used something that was too harsh for my skin, and now I'm gonna pay for it. So I did already put on a calming serum, believe it or not. I did add a moisturizer. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Farsali Liquid Glass, just because this is a very hydrating formula as well. And I'm just going to press that over the skin. And grabbing the Pixi Priming Vitamin C Face Oil, which is a face oil. So lots of extra hydration there. I am going to apply that over the skin as well, just in hopes of calming, soothing, and adding some hydration in so that my skin doesn't have to be red and inflamed for the rest of the day. And this actually brings up a really good point. Even I am trying things regularly. It's about how you correct if it doesn't work for you. So if you do have a reaction, or you do have, like I just did, redness and irritation, the best way to treat it is with products you already know and trust. So I put on my Murad Vitalixer to calm the redness. I put on a moisturizer that I've been using for about 3 weeks now. It is from Glossybox. It's the 3-in-1 moisturizer because I've been playing around with that one. And I popped that on because it was super hydrating. I then just added the Farsali, which I do know and trust. And then the Pixi, which I mentioned in last month's favorites that I've been using under makeup pretty much every time I do my makeup. And whenever I'm sitting here editing, I'm always adding a little bit to my face every now and then because it is so nice and refreshing. And then, you know, periodically take a setting spray to hydrate and cool. This has maracuja oil in it, which is also very hydrating. Off camera, Brandon just asked me how I felt about the Alpine because he wasn't in here when I started talking about it, and I told him. And the best way to talk about it is it's like a chemical exfoliant with the Dr. Brandt Microderm that I don't like mixed in, which he actually really likes. So I'm going to set this aside because it's something that I know he will enjoy, even though you will never see me using it again. All right, so this little rant about exfoliation just got a little bit overboard, so I'm going to do one more question. And this one is beautiful. How to tell what is causing a breakout. So this is actually a really good question because a lot of people don't know the answer. And somebody like me who is constantly trying new products and using products that are new, it's really difficult if you're trying a new thing every day to isolate what breaks you out because it's not always instant. There are products I put on, and if it's the only new thing in my routine, within an hour I can see little bumps. I'm having a reaction to it. And then I've had products that I used for 3 days before I noticed that I was starting to get cystic breakouts under the skin. So the best thing to understand is first isolate where it is happening. Jawline, specifically in women, but this does work for men as well, is hormonal. Anything that you get down here on the jawline, lower cheeks, is typically some form of hormonal reaction. So I used to have people all the time come into Sephora They would buy a new skincare product, come in about a week later and show me a whole bunch of breakouts on their jawline and tell me that the product broke them out and I made a horrible recommendation. And my first question was, I do not want to sound too forward, but, and then I would imply their cycles, because honestly, depending on where you are between ovulation and menstruation, it will affect where and how these breakouts go. That being said, if it's on your nose, if it's on your forehead, that can totally be a reaction to a product. But understanding physiologically that there are locations where this really isn't going to be a breakout prone area just based on the pores we have in our cheeks and jawbone area. That is typically going to be hormonal. That being said, if you don't like the way a product performs, don't keep using it. But I feel like the biggest thing I would say whenever I would sell products or educate about products in Sephora, it takes 28 to 60 days to know if a product is working for you. You will know earlier if you don't like the smell, if you don't like the texture, if you don't like how it feels, if you think it feels greasy, like any of that, absolutely. You will know in much less time if you're going to have contact dermatitis, an allergic reaction, or any of that. But for efficacy, if all skincare worked in 5 uses, the bottles would all be like this big and they'd be 10 times the price, because you can buy it once, use it for a week, and then not have to do skincare for another 6 months. That's not how it works. You have to give time and diligently use your products. Now, hopefully I answered your questions. If I didn't, make sure to sound off down below. I think my skin is starting to calm down a little bit. You can still see the redness from where the mask ended. So again, definitely a little bit much for my skin. I'm going to stick to using my Olga Lorenzen Red Carpet Facial for exfoliation, my Dr. Dennis Gross Peel Pads for exfoliation, any of those products, the Tarte Knockout Treatment for exfoliation. All of those are great. I also really like the Good Molecules Pineapple Enzyme Powder, because they're enzyme powders. They are chemical exfoliants. Physical exfoliants clearly do not work for my skin. I get super irritated. That little tangent aside, let me know down below if you have any questions or I missed something you had any interest in. I will be in the comment section to answer any questions I might have missed, or you can just shoot me a DM over on Instagram and I will be happy to address it. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.